Thanks for joining us this morning. And I guess you started to pay the price for success last night. Your 999 plan, scrap the tax code, replace it with a 9% income tax, 9% corporate tax, 9% sales tax. Got hit by everybody on the stage last night. And one of the most striking moments, when they panned out to the crowd and asked them about the 999 tax, not a single person raised their hand in support. And I wonder if that's because, people look at this 9-cent sales tax, they're going to spend another 9 cents every time they spend a dollar. That's going to be a huge hit to Americans who are hurting right now, isn't it?
No, George. The reason people didn't raise their hands is because it's 999. Senator Santorum took each one of them and asked that question. I commend the audience for not raising their hands, because they know that you have to take the three together. Together, you broaden the tax base, and together, you lower the net taxes for everybody. And so I'm not surprised that they didn't, because he totally took it out of context. And Senator Santorum has also been the one who has misrepresented it more than anybody else.
I know that's what you believe. You believe that everybody's going to get a tax break out of this, but a lot of independent analysts have looked at this plan as well, and they say that this will be a huge tax cut for the wealthiest Americans, a real tax increase for poor and middle class Americans, and it's going to increase the deficit. Now, I know you dispute that, but that's what independent analysts say. So if you're wrong, will you revise the plan?
George, no, because they're wrong, George. I'm sorry. Allow me to give at least one example. See, these independent analysts are making this analysis based upon their set of assumptions and not the assumptions we use to develop the plan. We will be happy to share those assumptions, but they won't call and ask, what are your assumptions? Now,
well, send them to us right now. But
the fact that take for example, George, please. Every worker pays 15.3% payroll tax. That goes to 9%. That is a 6 percentage point deduction right there. Then all they have to do is to pay the sales tax on that with that third 9. So you got a 6 percentage point pickup. And what people don't say is that for the sales tax, you don't pay the sales tax on used goods. It levels the playing field. And so the mischaracterization is that they are using the assumptions from the old tax code, and that simply does not work for the 999 plan.
Let me ask you about the news about Iran that broke yesterday. Attorney General announcing that they had broken up a plot backed by the Iranian government to assassinate the Saudi ambassador right here in the United States. ABC News has learned they also wanted to strike the Israeli embassy here. If the Attorney General came to the Oval Office to you with that information, how would President Cain respond?
President Cain would say, I would like to see all of the intelligence information. I would like to do a complete analysis with all of the advisors so we can make an informed, responsible decision as to what our next move should be. We need to do something. But George, I'm not going to make a decision just based upon news reports. I would gather all of my advisors,
the Attorney General,
all of the intelligence sources. I know he's the Attorney General, but George, I don't just listen to one person when I got to make a decision as critical as national security. He would provide one piece of input, but I would want the Joint Chiefs of Staff involved in this. I would want our intelligence sources involved in this before I made a decision as to exactly what we needed to do. We need to do something.
Most Americans are just getting to know you right now after a remarkably successful career in business, the head of Godfather's Pizza, but you have no foreign policy experience. Why shouldn't that matter to voters?
It shouldn't matter to voters, George, because having a foreign policy philosophy is more important than having foreign policy experience. For example, President Reagan's philosophy was peace through strength. My foreign policy philosophy is peace through strength and clarity. We need to clarify who our friends are, clarify who our enemies are, stop giving money to our enemies, and then let the rest of the world know who our friends are that we are going to stand by. This is one of the reasons this Iranian situation popped up, because it's not clear to a lot of people in the world under this administration who we are going to stand with. And so they are doing saber rattling, and they are insulting the United States of America by trying to pull off something like they tried to pull off yesterday.
Let me ask you about
a philosophy of peace through strength and clarity is my philosophy.
Let me ask you about your health. You survived stage 4 liver cancer. You write about it extensively in your book. And I'm just wondering, what are doctors telling you about
Yes.
your condition right now? And would you be willing to release your medical records to reassure voters, any voters who might be concerned about it?
I'm willing to release my medical records. 2 months ago, George, I went to my oncologist in Atlanta, got a full-scale checkup, CAT scan, x-rays, all of the various blood tests, and he put it in writing that after 5 years, I am now totally 100% cancer-free. And these are the doctor's words. I am a cancer miracle because I no longer have any traces of cancer. I'll be happy to release my records, not a problem.
Oh, good for you, and thanks for sharing that this morning. Thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure, George. Thank you.